Okay, folks, here we are. Do we look nice and fresh? Are we refreshed? I know you went camping. I feel like I've gotten at least 4 hours of sleep. I got my
Yes.
I got my two coffee mugs, the one in back and the real one.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be surprised if that was really true.
Yeah, I'd love to dive into this one. This way.
I have my coffee right here too.
Yes,
Maui
ma'am. How
coffee.
you doing?
Great. It's getting really busy,
Yeah, right. I mean, look, I
right?
feel like, and I've said this a million times, and I'll keep it brief, that I thought the year would go slow, but it's going so fast. Here we are, beginning of August.
Hmm.
Man, next thing you know it's Christmas again, something like that, right?
Oh God.
So
Yeah.
I'm seeing I'll just jump off real quick on the interest rate side. I'm seeing rates pretty much stable. I'm seeing them in the twos, mid to high twos is what I'm seeing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Unless you need a certain type of special program, which by the way, a lot of those programs have gone away, such as the bank statement programs for self-employed, jumbo loans have kind of gone silent. Now everything's coming back. Even though we're seeing a surge in the COVID numbers, we're still seeing lenders coming back and releasing somewhat that squeeze, what we call overlays. Overlays are additional requirements above and beyond the standard. So, for example, if the standard is you need to have a middle credit score of 680, an overlay could be no, we're only going to do 720, for example.
Hmm.
Those are kind of overlays, and we're starting to see the relaxing of those overlays and those going away
Hmm.
slowly but surely. But yeah, I'm seeing still very strong demand, particularly on the buyer side. Buyers are still coming out, and it seems to me, you tell me, like the buyers
Absolutely.
that are coming to us are a lot more serious.
Oh, very
Not just
serious.
like kind of like playing, maybe within a year. No, now.
Yep. No, I mean, I'm saying the same thing too. And people are really going aggressive. I mean, it almost feels like pre-COVID days where just multiple offers on a property. So look at this. So sometimes they talk about when is a bottom, right? So there was a
Yeah.
bottom in March. There was a bottom in March and April. Everybody who, and at that point, people were canceling contracts, bailing
Mm,
out on stuff. And maybe it worked out for them. Maybe things didn't work out economically or financially for them and they had to do what they had to do. But
yeah.
for those who bought, they must have even either got a discount or they must have gotten credits or they must have gotten, yeah, it's a huge reduction in price. So for those who bought then did well because now it's such a big, I mean, almost like they've made equity already since March and
Oh,
April.
for sure, for sure. And we're seeing multiple offers, right? We're seeing again multiple offers and people offering over asking. Yeah.
Sure, and
Wow.
it absolutely over asking, even sometimes more than what the appraisal value is in the neighborhood. And what I've noticed though, appraisals are actually meeting some of those values. So sometimes when someone's just trying to be competitive and they're giving a good price and they're trying to take their chances, I've seen that appraisals actually have met that price, which was actually higher than what the neighborhood was going for. And I was like,
Interesting.
okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Well, speaking of appraisals, though, appraisals are taking longer. I have personally experienced it. I've seen delays that I've never seen before. So if it's on the jumbo side, there's a lot of lenders that aren't even, they won't even consider in closing in less than 45 days. Standard now is becoming more the 30-day, whereas before, remember, I'd go 14 days, let's go, we'll kill it, we'll smash
mhm,
it. I'm seeing
mhm,
30 days. Doesn't mean I can't do it, but I'm seeing more of that. There's a bit of
yeah,
bottlenecking because we are at historically low rates. And so the demand for lending is humongous, which is causing huge stress on the
mm,
lenders because the reality is they're understaffed. They can't hire
yeah.
fast enough.
For sure. And a question, I have a friend who's also my client who recently asked me about stated income loans. So he makes great money, has a lot of write-offs. In that case, what do you suggest for someone who is in that position? Can they buy a property, get a loan?
Yeah, stated income is a past term that doesn't really get used anymore, even though we OGs still like to use it. It's more of an alternative income. So we
Mm,
have things like bank statement programs. We also have asset-based programs as well for those
okay.
type of situations. So and of course it depends on the client's exact
So
financial
you still have
background, but we
programs
do
that
have them.
you
Yes.
do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So for
Yeah.
y'all self-employed folks that have a lot of write-offs, that have great bank statements,
Yeah.
This is your man.
Well, and always look, don't ever make an assumption before knowing the facts.
Right.
First, come and talk. It doesn't cost anything, and we don't bite. But you'll
Gotcha.
get the reality of what your real options are because you never know. You don't know because not everybody is an expert in mortgages, right? So
For
don't
sure.
pretend like you're an expert. Go to an expert, whether it's me or somebody else. Go and actually talk it out and see what your real options are. That way you don't miss
Hmm.
out.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So okay, so basically the lending market still really good with rates.
Yeah, rates are fantastic. Rates are fantastic, and the only thing that suffered is the speed in some cases. But if you're squeaky clean, I could still get it done in less than 30 days. Not
Okay.
a problem. It just, again, it depends on the person's situation. If you have 70 LLCs and you got very complicated tax returns, well, it's going to take the underwriters a little bit longer to vet you out. But otherwise, if you're pretty vanilla, meaning that you work for a company, you've been there for a while, income is straightforward, debt is straightforward. If you even have any, your credit scores are straightforward. That should be able to be knocked
Gotcha.
out pretty quick. You could still get, by the way, less than 20% down. That still exists. There's some banks that decided as an overlay that they didn't want to touch anybody with less than 20% down. I still have many, many programs with far less than 20% down. So
That's
again,
great to
just
know. Yeah.
know your options. And part of that is having an initial discussion so that we can talk out which of those
Yeah.
options are best for you. Right?
That's a great thing to bring up because I did have someone recently contact me who I'm helping buy a home. He thought he had to wait until he had 20% down. And I think it was mostly because of avoiding mortgage insurance. But the greatest thing is just to make a move. So whether you still have 3.5% or 5% or 10%
Yeah,
down, whatever it is, it always is better long term to just get in and then you can refinance down the road. Um,
absolutely.
Yeah. Another thing is what I'm getting a lot is people who are trying to leverage this market. Right now, the market is really good for sellers. So it may be challenging for buyers because of a little inventory and the multiple offer situation that's happening. So how that translates to sellers is for people who are considering selling. And I'm talking timeline because they're like, oh, I don't want to put the house probably till fall. So I tell them November, December, really tough times. I wouldn't suggest putting a
Yep.
property on the market November, December, only because that's when values are lower.
Yeah,
People who are
there's less
serious,
demand.
there's less demand. I mean,
Do
if
it
you have
now.
to sell in November, December, you have to do what you have to do. But if you could avoid it and sell sooner, I would say so. So your highest leverage of equity is you would want to be closed by October. So what does that mean? Let's say it takes about 30 days to close. So you have to get in contract on your property by October. It may take a month to prep or 2 months depending on your situation. So that's October, and then you'd have September that your house would have to be on the market. If you need a little bit more prepping, so it would have to be now, like sometime in August. So if you're thinking of doing something and making any moves, you really have to. My suggestion is making uh, a, a choice soon because we don't know how things are going to go. If you plan to make a move within the next year, it may just make sense to just try to make the move sooner than later.
Yeah, to your point, look, we just discussed it. Inventory is low, which means that if you're putting inventory on the market, you're going to get a premium for it because it is low overall. So number one, you're going to get a better price. Number two, you don't want to run the risk of interest rates going up on you and your cost of money goes up because that's going to affect dramatically your ability to buy and your affordability number, right? So you got two great things going for you right now as a seller. One is inventory is low, which means you're going to get a premium for your property, and two, rates are super super low, all time high, all time lows.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time to strike. Don't wait for something to go up because that opportunity cost can be very very expensive. Cool. How do people get a hold of you if they're interested in buying or selling?
All right. Well, my telephone number is 415-756-4418, and you can
And your
call or text
email's
me.
right there in the window. If you need to get a hold of me or you want to talk this out and you have any questions, I have a lot of different hacks and a lot of different ideas on how to get creative. My phone number is below 415-368-1149. Best thing is to always send me a text because I'm always doing something. I'm always disseminating information or I'm on the phone. So send me a text. Let me know that you want to talk. Sometimes it only takes 5 to 7 minutes to get you some
Mhm.
answers. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for the
Okay. Thank
information.
you.
Have a fantastic day. And I will see you next week.
See you
Take care,
next week.
everybody.
Okay.